Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today I'm going to tie for you one of my favorite dry flies. This is called the indicator ant. I really don't know much history about it other than it works. I mean, I've had this little bug right here catch me fish in the dead of winter when there's not an ant anywhere. And in summertime, I mean, this thing, it just does well. It's just a really good buggy terrestrial looking thing. I pretty much exclusively tied on a TMC 100 in size 14. I don't really see any reason to go bigger or go smaller. This size always works for me. So here we go with the hook. And basically what the whole thing is just this ant body. This is the foam ant body, medium in black, by Wapsi. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really like the thinner ones and I don't really like the thicker ones. I don't know what it is about this medium size that just seems to be spot on for me, but that's what I've had the most luck with. I'm going to be tying with sheer 14-aught in black, and I'm just going to dress the hook. Now what I'm going to try and do is just cover up the entire hook to not expose any of the bare shank anywhere. And as always, coming back to where that barb wants to start, as you can see. Then I'm going to take my ant body, and the way I like to measure it is how far that index point. So I started about maybe an eye opening back, just that's enough room for my knot, but that'll be where the end of that foam body gets tied in as far as it is going to go forward. So as far as I push this forward is as big as that head is going to be, right? So I want to try and keep that even with the back end. Now when it comes to the back end, I always trim this, so you got to remember that this is going to be a little bit longer. So you always measure to the head. And I always like to take, what is that? Let's see. 1, 2, maybe 2.5 eyes, something like that, 2.5, 3 eyes. Then from there, I start my first wrap, and I'm going to use my index finger to not allow that foam to want to roll, because that foam is going to, the torque on the thread is going to want to roll that foam. So I use my index finger here to keep that foam where it's at. Now I'm not going to really reef down on this thread into this foam because I don't want it to cut the foam. So you have to be careful whenever you're tying this to not really pull tight because it will cut that foam. Now I've got a whiting saddle here, appropriately sized to the hook, in black of course. I'm going to strip a few butt ends and tie that in. It's actually a really, really simple fly. I see a little butt end. I'm going to go come in here and snip him out. There's nothing too crazy here. Making sure the correct side is going forward here. Shiny side should always lead. I'm going to get about 4 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want to make it super bushy, but you definitely want to fill in the area that you've made. And from there, I just clip out that excess. And I save that tip for the next part. Those appear to be from the tips. I'm going to come in and get those cleaned up. Kind of jump forward here. I'm going to come all the way up to that index point, and that's what I'm going to use to tie down this front part. And the same thing I'm going to use it with what I did in the back. So I'm going to use that index finger to make sure that it doesn't roll off to the side. And then I roll back about that same gap that I did for the reverse, for that reverse section. I just kind of go back and forth on it. Nothing too crazy. Now this feather's getting right down to the end of it. But I got some hackle pliers that'll make quick work of it. Make things easier. I'll do the same number. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One wrap. 2, 3. Come in and clip that tip. Then I like to pull the head back and jump my thread forward. Go ahead and cover that bare hook shank. And kind of prop the head up a little bit. Then from there, you just whip finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're almost done. Now from here, what I normally like to do, I need to clean that one little bit up from the tip of that feather back here. There. So normally what I like to do is I like to take the fly out of the vise and kind of push those hackles forward from the back. And I like to face it towards me like this. And then what I do is I make sure it's vertical, right? So I'm not laying it over to any side. Kind of tilt it towards me, and I lay my scissors on the side here at an angle. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. That way when I cut this, it cuts it at a point. Now what I'm also making sure of is I don't open my scissors so far that I actually trap those hackles and cut them off, because I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to open it up just enough to get it to a point. So I got one side clipped, and then I turn it over. I can kind of manipulate those hackles to get them out of the way. Come in on the other side, trim it to that point. And there you go. Last but not least, I like to take my head cement here, go in at each one of those hackle locations, do a little squirt, make sure that hackle's going to stay put, and then I like to hit that knot. And if you save that tip, if you ever get any head cement down into the eye of your hook there, what you can do is you can strip a few of those fibers off, stick it right through, and that will clean any of that out before it dries. And there you go, the indicator ant. Twist some up, let me know how you do. Hope y'all have a great day.